Hello and welcome back to Metaverse. For today's video, we are going to be talking about Elrond, explaining everything you need to know about eGLD. Let's get started. Since the inception of cryptocurrencies, old-timers like Bitcoin and Ethereum included, it has felt like a significant difficulty for most projects to be able to handle a massive quantity of transactions in the crypto world as more and more users get onboarded. Unfortunately, this has made using cryptocurrency more difficult as traders and investors cope with either incredibly slow transaction speeds or absurd gas prices. Nowadays, people find it nearly impossible to ignore cryptocurrencies and their blockchains because they provide a number of distinctive benefits. Ethereum, on the other hand, is a programmable blockchain that allows the creation of smart contracts and highly useful decentralized finance application. However, developers have been looking for ways to combine the qualities of Bitcoin and Ethereum with a touch of maximum scalability, and it seems like maybe they're hit a much-needed breakthrough. For example, Bitcoin is basically the gold standard for digital assets given its main power to store value through scarcity. In order to address the industry scalability issue in 2022, two brothers, Lucian and Benjamin Minshew, as well as a friend, Lucian Tadea, founded Elrond. Prior to doing so, the Minshew brothers launched MetaChain Capital, a cryptocurrency investment fund, where Benjamin served as the CEO and Lucian as the Chief Technology Officer. What is Elrond? A good blockchain should include all the features that Elrond, a public blockchain, provides, containing the consensus mechanisms, two fundamental components, adaptive state sharding, and secure proof of stake. Elrond's blockchain not only enables quick transactions, but also functions as a whole finance ecosystem for the Internet of Things and DeFi. Essentially, this means that programmers can use this blockchain to easily create various dApps. According to developers, having the capacity to process a large number of transactions and the concept of linear scaling shouldn't include a blockchain from having other crucial features. Alternative blockchains typically offer up for speed. In order to do this, they built Elrond to be able to process up to 10,000 transactions per second while minimizing transactions finality and gas cost. If you're new around here, this means they want confirmations of transactions to happen as quickly as possible while keeping the cost low. Another thing they are determined to do is stop people from switching from one blockchain to another, primarily through the use of controlled exchanges and trade platforms. For a long, the only way to migrate from one blockchain to another was to sell your cryptocurrency to a centralized exchange like Coinbase and then use the proceeds to acquire another cryptocurrency asset from which you could move elsewhere. How does Elrond works? As many other blockchains have done, Elrond is attempting to do the same by using bridges and something referred to as the Elrond virtual machine. As a result, as we already mentioned, Elrond's blockchain makes use of adaptive state sharding and its distinctive secure proof of stake algorithm to provide the scalability we're talking about. You should be aware that the native coin of the Elrond Network is named eGLD. Before we discuss things in a moment. Adaptive State Sharding. Elrond has adopted a unique approach to sharding technology when it comes to scaling, and as a consequence, they developed a database optimization technique that distinguishes itself as one of the top blockchain-driven solutions. In summary, most blockchains with sharding simply divide their networks into a variety of smaller units, each of which essentially a miniature version of the entire network, and these these units periodically communicate with a master shard. This is kind of the idea behind the upcoming Ethereum 2.0 upgrade. However, the effective proof of stake for Harmony is very similar to the Adaptive State Sharding. Elrond's network is divided into numerous shards, each of which receives a random selection of validators to create blocks. Now, this section is going to get a little technical, but in general, the network's chronology is arranged based on a timeline separated into rounds and epochs. Each round is made up of time periods that are supported to live within it. The network chooses a new consensus group for a certain shard and gives it the responsibility of creating a new block for that shard, which is essentially a small blockchain. Additionally, epoch and the network's architecture are both adaptable, which is just another way of stating they can be changed. Epochs have a set lifespan, and as they pass away, all the shards must be pruned and reorganized. Elrond's implementation of sharding is motivated by their desire to fulfill a number of specific goals. But here are some of those goals in plain English. First and foremost, they want to accomplish scalability without compromising availability, which essentially implies that updates and downtime shouldn't be affected anytime there is a change in the number of current shards, whether the network is expanding or contracting, in order to keep shards continually balanced. Elrond also wants to accomplish perfect flexibility. Next is instant dispatching and traceability, which simply means that we want the network to know where everything is on the network at once and be able to calculate future stuff on the network quickly. Basically, they want the network to be able to adapt well to what users require in terms of Elrond performing a variety of tasks as it grows and shrinks. Elrond's consensus mechanism. The system that they employ to guarantee that everyone consensus on the transactions on the blockchain is called Elrond's consensus mechanism. The regular proof of stake consensus technique has been improved by Elrond's safe proof of stake mechanism. Secure proof of stake. Less than 100 milliseconds are needed for a consensus group election, which is the process of choosing the nodes for a shard, thanks to the secure proof of stake algorithm. This is because it provides latency, making it faster, and because each node in the shard decides who will be in the consensus group at the start of each round, in order to encourage meritocracy among nodes and take your investment into account. The network has also implemented a weighted rating scheme. In other words, your vote has greater weight the more coins you have and the more honest you have been in the past. Metachain. Next, let's discuss the metachain, a hot topic right now. The metachain is a protocol that is currently powered by a unique shard. A new epoch is essentially triggered, rewarding stackers for storing and maintaining the validator's registry, or approving the block headers of processed shards. And less attention is paid to transaction processing, and more attention is paid to accelerating communications between all these shards. That means, once more in plain English, that it resembles Ethereum's beacon chain and is essentially the master shard. eGLD tokens. The eGLD tokens make up Elrond's architecture's last element. They provide as a means of payment for transactions, storage, validator rewards, dApp creation and development, and smart contract execution, which is how they basically power the blockchain. Elrond tokenomics. eGLD, the native token of Elrond, was developed to compete with Bitcoin as a store of value, unlike many other projects or coins in the market. As always, we are here to demystify the intricacies by starting with the most basic concepts. eGLD has a finite supply that starts at 20 million tokens, with fresh tokens created to reward validators, though theoretically decreasing as more transactions are processed because a portion of transaction fees are burned. The overall maximum supply of eGLD tokens can never exceed about 31.5 million. They are permanently lost. A portion of the transaction costs are split between the validators and the community fund in Elrond, while the remainder is burned. A nice feature of Elrond is that if you write a smart contract and many people use it, 30% of the transaction cost related to that smart contract go directly to you, the creator, thus you may profit from the transaction fees. Regarding tokenomics, eGLD was initially made available for purchase in a private sale, which is very different from how Bitcoin was introduced, when the devs sold 19% of the original supply. During Elrond's time, 50% of the tokens bought were made available right once, while the remaining tokens were dispersed in 15.4% increments every 3 months for 6 months. Tokenomics are lengthy and number-oriented. 2022 Binance made an initial exchange offer for Elrond and sold 25% of the supply very immediately. The remaining coins are divided between paying awards, distributing grants, and marketing the community, as well as funding the advisory board and the founding team. The majority of the eGLD, according to Elrond's tokenomics, appear to be large exchanges like Binance or Crypto.com, which is generally a good thing as you don't want one person holding a sizable chunk of the eGLD token. eGLD is also highly non-inflationary because of its restricted supply. As a result, price and demand often possibly correlate, and if demand increases, price will follow. From our discussion, what have you learned? Please let me know by leaving a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you for stopping by to watch. See you in our next video.